Hello, storytellers. Storytelling around here, and just want to thank you guys for the successful Kickstarter. Let me do that real quick, and I gotta remember to put a link, but it's kind of like only 2 hours away. And thank you for the people that have backed me in the last and throughout the night, I guess, because I wake up and there's more backers. So I appreciate that. This is a tough game to sell. It really is, and I'm contentious, and I get it, and it's about being a Christian, and that's contentious in today's world, which is pretty sad, And I know the arguments against putting Christianity in a game. I was talking to one of the players last night, and it was really helpful too. Just putting Christianity in a game is, nobody wants that, and the strange. I get why pagans don't want that, or why people that are not Christian don't want that, because they just want their paganism, and it is paganism. Everything that is not of Christ is paganism. And I don't want to be that contentious, right? I don't want to be that argumentative, but if you and I put our faith into it, we're not allowed to play, and we're getting kicked out of the conventions. Where we believe in a man and a woman. That's contentious now. And now I made that video. We want to call them mothers and fathers. That's contentious now. Merry Christmas is contentious now. Everything that a Christian does is Christian nationalism, is racist, is white supremacy. So for me, I do all these videos and I'm contentious, but I'm reacting to what is going on in the culture, what's going on in the RPG culture too. So that's why I made this game, and I can never go back. And I look fondly at the other games. I do. I look fondly at all the new indie games that are coming out, and the people that are making these things. I do. I look fondly at them. But we're of Jesus Christ, and we can't. We're not allowed to be Christian in these games. And the ones though that I get they get under my skin for sure, are the ones that say they're about replicating the medieval times or earth times or whatever, and then they remove the church and Christianity, which is a big part of why, like I say, we have Western civilization, or the part. It's the essential. The Bible and church culture is what has created chivalry, romance, charity, a family unit of a mother and a father, gotten rid of slavery. Absolutely, Christians got rid of slavery. And has kept at bay Islamic terror, genocide, Marxism, tyranny, genocide. The church has kept that at bay. Okay. Now, right now in China, I just saw an article where Xing is replacing Jesus Christ and Mother Mary, or the Catholics worship, with him in the churches. So, and that's what happened in Nazi Germany before, or with the Weimar Republic, or when the Nazis took power, they replaced the Bible and Jesus with Hitler and Mein Kampf. So the church is what keeps at bay, and church was incredibly weak in the Weimar Republic. I'll have you know, it was incredibly weak. The 30s became a very secular, atheist period. So let's go back to, I know I'm going off on a rant. I just want to show you, I'm building out the Dark Ages rulebook to give you guys more, just helpful guides on running the game, like the 6 traits, giving you guys examples of what you could do. But again, you can make up anything you want as far as skills go. These are just these are the essentials that you can use, but then you can build out anything you want as far as skills go. I'm trying to give you like the basic rundown of the characters stuff and understanding that. I'm actually breaking down so that you have more. You get more understandings of what all the upgrades are and how they work, and what things you can do. But again, you can do more than this. You can add in your own skills. You can come up with your own things, and you start off with these. This is in essence, the white boxes are your background, but you can go in any direction you want. You can go from a warrior to a priestly person as you progress in the mission, or you could go from a priestly person to become a fighter as you progress because of the desperate situations that have occurred in the story. I want you to role play your story, your character, not write out paragraphs and then scour little options in the book. I want you to role play it out and experience it, and we all experience it together in the story. I do understand that you only can role play 2 or 3 hours every week or every other week. So a lot of players like to actually delve into the books and do the min-max and check out what the options are. I get that, but it doesn't make for good role playing, to be honest. And what I've experienced in D&D and in the past, when players bring in all this min-max stuff and all their little tricks and stuff, it's kind of a neat little, counter or whatever, but it doesn't create, it kind of surprises everyone. It's almost like, let's say you're getting together with your friends, or I don't even have an analogy. I'm just trying to, anyway, it's just that when they come in like, aha, I got this trick. And then everyone's like, oh, I don't even know what that is. So we all have to like stop and read what they're talking about, or what the rule, or what the feat is, and what the special power is. And I just find that stultifying, whatever. And I'm not trying to denigrate it necessarily. Maybe some games are like that, but I'm purposely trying to get out of that. And so that, not that I need to do that right now. So that it's about role playing the character. It's about experiencing the character's first experience of anything in the story. Because you're like a 17, 18, 19-year-old kid in the story. The character sheet is very simple. It's very simple to make the character. Once you understand all these concepts, it's like, I don't need to look at anything to do it. Oh, well, the one thing I don't remember is, the exact weapon damages, the exact burden. The ranges are very common sense. The style is an optional thing. And then, of course, the armor and its armor save, which is pretty much easy to remember. I pretty much have that down. And then the burdens are a little different. And then the gear, of course. And that's it. And I will have a money system in here, but the money system is very basic for buying and selling. I really want you as a GM to just decide what prices things are based on the availability and the stodginess of the area. Like, is it common that they have this stuff and they'll sell it for cheap, or is it a town or village where they're very stuck up and sell it at high prices, and then those prices should be very wishy-washy. That's kind of why I'm not wanting to put prices down, because players will look at that price and assume that's what you have. And if you change it, they get, they can kind of get upset. Like, hey, it's only 4 gold or whatever. Why are you charging 8? It's like, but there is not a price list, technically speaking. When you go to each area in the old times, you have to go based on what it is for them. What are they offering it for? And, most things are very cheap anyway. So as far as basic stuff, but then when you get to the more expensive stuff, it gets more expensive quickly. So I do have something in here about that, but I got to find it, but I don't want to do it right now. Okay. Just moving on. All right. Die ranks. I got a nice infographic, or a little infographic, and then just explaining it. But once you get it down, I don't ever have to look at it again. I don't have to look at this. It's just divide by 5 is the, if you have 13 die ranks of bonuses, you just divide it by 5, and that's your dice pool, and go for it. And I love this little, you got your little options here. If you roll a 7 or above, you negate any nat ones if you get it. And that's been a great little, because whenever they roll a nat 1, I'm like, yeah, and giving the players a hard time. But then like, oh, I rolled a 7 in my dice pool. Oh, whew, so that's a nice for the GM. I've never played a 1/1. Either it's happened and I just never saw it, because you get even if you roll your dice pool, if you get a 1/1, you still get a fumble, and you still get to do your success too. But I've never come across it, and I've been playing now for quite a while. I've not seen it. I think I just miss it, and they probably don't tell me when they do it. 7/7 though, that's a good one. Explodes the dice. So that's fun. That's cool, especially when they're doing research, engineering, upgrading, and they get a bunch of extra die ranks. So the die rank result, I just want to talk about this because I love it. The die rank result is really cool because in so many games, in so many rolls, you want it's how well you roll really can affect the thing you're doing. So the simplest is prayer. The prayer, cooking, or comforts is the higher you roll, the more you can give then inspired die to the other players or to yourself. You can disperse them as you want. So if I rolled, the 12 is the default number to get. And if I roll a total prayer with all these die ranks and a dice pool and I explode the dice, yeah, and you get die ranks through, are you in a church? Do you have a priest next to you helping you? Is it corporate prayer together with everyone else? And why don't you go ahead and do the prayer? And then I will award die ranks based on how good that prayer is. and it's to Jesus Christ, and it's for the mission, and it's for evangelism. And then let's say they explode the dice and they get like a 32. So 20 above 12, right? 20 above 12, you subtract the whatever, I can make this 12 a little harder. It's a scary, stormy night, and I can add a couple of die ranks, roll those die ranks and add it to the 12, if I wanted. But, if they're in a cave and it's cold. So cave is a die rank, cold is a die rank, dark is a die rank. So I'll have 3 die ranks, D8. I'll roll a D8 and add that to the 12. That's what you got to go above. But whatever. So let's say 12, they're in a church. And I give them a bunch of bonus die ranks for what they're doing. And for the church, I give them, bonuses for the church, for whatever else. So they roll the 30, let's say a 32. I'm just keeping it. So 20 is the difference. 20, half of that is 10. Half of it is 10, and that's 10 die ranks. So that's their result. Now, and then they can disperse those amongst the players as bonus die, inspired die, they can use later on. As die rank bonuses. I'm going to blow my nose. I got a little allergy thing going on. So let me. You know what? I'm just gonna mute my mic and be silly about this. Okay, that's morning goop. Okay. What I really love is when they do engineering stuff and they get those die ranks. And let's say they same roles or whatever, but engineering, tools, workshop. Bunch of their supplies have bonuses, like when you get low tech and high tech, you can actually get high tech that has 1 die rank, 2 die rank, whatever. They add all this stuff together to upgrade their power armor, and they get the die rank result of 10 die ranks. So that goes into the successfully getting the power armor upgraded. But you do not, if they're going from a D12, D4, so a D12, D4 to a D6, D12 to a D6. I'm sorry, I'm making this confusing. Let me go simpler. Plate mail, D12. I don't know. Plate mail is already D12. I don't want to go. Brigading armor, D10. They want to raise that up to a D12 in the gear part, in the gear. So they got to go to a D12. So they only, if they get 10 die ranks, die rank result, they get the D12. They don't go higher. Every upgrade is 1 increment. But the additional die ranks they can use to reduce the supplies, reduce the time, reduce the rations that I told them that were required for this, and then they can if there's any left over, they can use those die ranks for the next roll. Say if they want to do another roll at the same time or the next day or within the same period of time. So, and it's explained in here, don't worry. But there's some cool stuff in here like that, and everything kind of works together. The engineering obviously is more of an advanced role playing game thing, but it's in here and you can use it and it's fun. All right, power of faith is doing blessings, and these are all great, and you can obviously come up with other ones if you can think of any. I keep them very simple. There is a little bit of a hitch when people play, but when someone has their character has blessings and they use it regularly, it moves along very quickly. They know what to do. What I do notice is it slows down is because new players, or we have like these one shots where they've been playing a regular character and now they have a character with blessings. It does slow down a little for them to figure out using the die ranks, the faith points, to then give them die ranks for all the different factors. And every blessing has basically a deliverance, which is like heal. I want to heal someone 1 die rank, which is a D4, so that's the deliverance. That's the simplest. Done right there. Just heal. You can also do rebuke. I want to rebuke that person. It's a blessing. D4. So quick. That's it. Done. And I don't even have them do a resist and the D4 drains their vitality. They get more and more. And when they get to 0 in that respect, they're not fighting. Basically, they're totally guilt ridden, and basically surrendering. So they're not dead or anything. They're at 0, and I'm not killing them, but they're just exhausted, guilt ridden, in a fetal position, crying and sobbing for and that doesn't mean they're converted. It just means they're guilt ridden, and that's doing rebuke. Deluge is obviously, you can add that to, I'm healing D4, but I want to heal a couple people, so I got to get one faith point here. As you can see, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Deluge, roll a D4 and see how many you heal for D4. That's what deluge is. Duration, you can have duration. Duress is if you're going to rebuke a sorcerer or witch, they get to resist, and then the rest is you can add a D4, to make the resist harder. And distance is arbitrary. And distance to me is more of a discretionary thing on the GM. How much, if they're only going to do heal, just 1d4, but the person is way over there, I'm going to say you're going to need another faith point to get it over there. If they're going to heal for D8, 3 faith points, and the person's way over there, I'm going to say, fine, you reach them because you're spending a lot of faith points in the blessing anyway, 3, and to me that's good enough to reach over there. So it's a discretionary type of thing, the distance. And I there's no like casting turns or whatever. It's just it's kind of a free action. Once per turn, they can do one blessing on their turn, on someone else's turn, because they're basically just calling out. Heal is in essence, may you persevere, in the name of the Lord. May you, give them. Like, it basically gives them a second win kind of a thing. And bless, same thing. May you fight for the Lord, and same thing. They give them a bonus there. Okay, so it's very kind of basic stuff like that. Glory points explains all the upgrades that you can do, and it's not level based. It's skill based and factor based, and hit points, which is vitality. Traits, you can upgrade those. I do have it where I don't have it in here. I don't know where I have it or don't have it, but basically 4 and 5 is the maximum. When you get to past 5 or 6, I should be somewhere. I think I wrote it down somewhere. I don't even remember. You want to subtract 1 from the others. So if you go from 5 to 6, which is plus 6, just same equation, equates to D&D as far as ability scores. So a 5 is really high, and a 6 is really high and super high. So I consider a 6 to be you must subtract 1 from another trait because of how focused you are on that one. So even though you spend the glory points to go up to 6, 5 to 6 is 11 glory points, right? 5 plus 6. And that's the traits is the only one where you do that. You add both together to get the cost of how doing there. And then if you go to 6, you got to also subtract 1 from another trait. That may be my own little homebrew rule because I don't know where I put it in here, and if I would have put it anywhere, it would have been here. But anyway, I'll that's just something for you to know. Okay, I've done some new stuff here. Profession list. I'm adding this just to give you ideas. If you get an NPC going, I should put NPC names or whatever. NPC names in the Dark Ages. You can do this. Do either of these lists, and the first syllable is a peasant, a person or poor person or whatever. Add a second syllable. Add a third syllable, kind of thing. And their social standing here, you can roll that. Slaves, hired hands, bandits, pagans, apprentice, profession, and noble patrician. And obviously 1 through 5 is slaves, 6 and 7 is hired hands, mercenaries and travelers, adventurers, whatever, soldiers, retired pilgrims. Bandit and 8 is criminals. 9 is pagans exclusive, where they're doing slavery. Gladiator. Just do gladiator. Okay, and priest, temple priestess, zealots, shamans. 10 is apprentice, 11 is profession, 12 is noble, but only 1 in 20 of those would be a leader that you could encounter. And then professionalist, you can have that's all the different fun things, and I kind of explained kind of what's in each, what you might say find in that area. If you had a winemaker, it'd be a vintner, vineyard, grapes, barrels, fermenting, wagons, oxen, wine cellar, taverns. It'd be like what would be in that area, what would make sense for that business. So culture. Okay, I explained paganism here. I've got church activities, and I'm going to add more here for understanding the planning of churches and how you as characters, missionaries, can stay there and build up a little bit and get some stuff, resources and support. Village and part of town activity. This is new, so I'm adding where sort of each building here, country mill, market hall, can have different things in them, right? Different businesses in them, but also different little plots that you could roll up if you wanted. And this is sort of like a little town section, right? If you do a town, this is a village. This is more than enough for a village plus a bunch of smaller buildings. But if this could also be a section of a town, well, these buildings in that section where the missionaries are going to investigate or figure out what's going on or discover things. And one of the things I really want is a witch huts where they can go in and literally confront a witch who's an established business in the town. And they will definitely be a local leader of paganism in the area. Whether you confront them or whether you can get the town to kick them out. I mean, seriously, that's Christianity. We set up a church and we remove the paganism. Because what is paganism? What, I have my heater on. What is paganism? Paganism, witches especially, are life cheats. They're life cheats. So the first two are sort of what do I have? Birthdays, palm reading, fortune teller. Why do I have palm reading? Why don't I put birthdays? Palm readings. So the first two, bone trinket reader. To put voodoo-ish, even though voodoo doesn't exist here. Voodoo, creepier. Okay, so shamanistic. Yeah, put that down. Shamanistic. Okay. Well, instead of voodoo, I'm gonna put tribal because that's more. Okay, witch huts are life cheats. Paganism is life cheats. The example is love potions. That is the biggest number one pagan thing that the people used back in the day, and witches were generally also illegal. But this is in the 6th century where I'm going to say 6th, 7th century where they kind of still had things going on. They were technically illegal, but they're everywhere, right? So the reason why were they illegal? Why did pagan leaders make witches illegal? Because they did life cheats. They were doing love potions. The leaders knew those love potions were drugs. They knew that they were rape drugs. That's what they are. And everyone bought them. So it was very big. And the church went through the towns helping the leaders get rid of these witches because they were doing horrible things. Abortion, child sacrifice, all that. But here they're doing life cheats. Like, for instance, if I were a pagan with a life cheat of fortune telling, then I would think like, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I would treat everyone else like that. Like, I'm going to be successful over you. I'm going to be successful. I know something you don't, so I'm going to act that way. So what the witches do is they empower people to be basically a-holes, right? Because they think they know they've been told they're going to get something. Their business is going to succeed. Blah, blah, blah. So instead of actually working hard and doing it, they just know they're going to succeed, and then they treat everyone else horribly, right? Okay. Gee, sorry. So that's basically what all witches are offering, lies, BS, and people are spending money on it because they want lies and BS, and the leaders and stuff knew that was not good for the community, but they're still powerful. Paganism is still powerful. People still do it. Look at today. So these are going to be in the village if you want, and you can roll them up here. There are options in these different buildings here. Like, there'll literally be a witch in one of these buildings, and you got to go confront them, or at least know that's where you need to investigate or figure out what's going on. Ramshackles here, fun little things you can have repair, and all these things can offer things for them too. If they go there. And so I'm just trying to give you like different things so that you can quickly make up a village if you wanted that they're going to for the next adventure. And here are some sort of outskirt settlements that I'm building up to. It's still sort of tied in with what they could have in those positions, and then what you may encounter there. But it's just a guide. It's just something for you can roll and use, or you can make up your own, whatever. And use common sense. What would be there? I'm building that out some more. And again, my pagan hex crawl, and I should probably call it hexen crawl. It's hexes. A hex is a pagan thing where it's a play on words, right? Instead of a hex crawl being the hex crawl in role-playing games, it's the hex in the sense of the witch's hex, the curse. So I'm making this nice and confusing. So this pagan hex crawl is more to do with what the pagan hexes are than it is with a map, right? A random map. So I give you, using die ranks, you can roll on this table to start your pagan activity, what it would be. But what I mean by die ranks is, like, you can start off with a D4 if they're new players. And as they sort of progress in each mission, you can go to a D6 for the options, and the D8 and D10, just for the fun of it. And if it has just a DR there, that's what that means. You do it based off of what you started with on the first one here. And if you want to go crazy and just do a D12, do a D12, and you can get some scary stuff, And it just gives you ideas on the way you can create the pagan activity in that area, which would tie into the witch. That would be here, or she could be an opposing force to the, because pagans are obviously against other pagans. They do that too. And then this one gives you just more stuff you can add to it, more levels of additional flavor. The style of pagan activity will have this modus operandi, but it also can have, and it gets worse as you go down to 12, right? It gets worse. So, curse table. These are like little rumors and things that are in addition to the regular pagan activity that's going on. More adventure ideas I just have that you can add to it if you want. This is conversion level is really important here on the left. And 1 is violently evil and 8 is Christian or wanting or need, as soon as they hear there's a Christ, they're sold, they're done. They're emotionally engaged with you. There's something better than what they have all around them, than all the horrible child sacrifice and hedonism that they witness day to day. So, and this I use a lot. This is something you need to just have in your head, the D8. And if they're generally evil, I roll 2 D8s and keep the lowest. I never roll 2 D8s and keep the highest. Never, because man is a freaking sinner. Okay, but when you roll these, you can get some cool stuff. And one time I was in Christians in Space, and there's this corporation who, all the corporations are secular, atheist, Marxist, elitist, whatever. And I rolled 2 D8s, keep the lowest, and I rolled 2 8s. And I love following I love being forced to do what the dice say. I'm 45 years GM, been doing it for 45 years since I was 10. And I just love rolling these and saying, oh man, 2 D8s. I was like, what? So secretly there's this, in the Christian Space series, there's a corporation that is so ready to be Christianized. Hey, that's the campaign. Examples of pagan activity based on the evilness of pagans. So I'm building out the treasures, relics, artifacts now, and here's the denarii and the. I don't know if I do solos, which is the gold. I just denarii to keep it simple, but mastercrafted items. You can have items that give a little bit of plus one die rank. Sorry, plus one die rank to damage, plus 1 die rank to gear, equipment. So that, if you have a sword that's plus 1 die rank, it could be to the hit, to the damage, so it'll add to the die ranks to the person's skill. Saintly relics do a little extra stuff. That's me getting a little bit like Dan, little bit, but it's primarily die rank stuff. Primarily focuses on die rank stuff. Capitalize these die ranks. I'm going to add more stuff here so you guys can have more things. And I gotta, I'm a Protestant Reformed Baptist, and I don't believe in relics and icons and that sort of thing. But I gotta concede or accept that was huge in the 6th, 7th century in the early church. And the early church fathers who helped build, who risked life and limb to start the church. And remember, around 400 AD, I was reading, there was only like a handful of actual Christians left in the world, in Rome. Everything else was being overrun, taken, whatever. I mean, I'm sure there was scattered churches, but the Catholic Church that helped expand the early church, the Catholic Church early, there was only a few handful left in Rome because of all the heresies and stuff. And through a miracle, I don't know if it was Gregor or who it was, or 5th century, 6th century, sorry, 5th, 6th century, through a miracle, they converted some of the I forgot what the heresy was. There was a big one. Armenian, not the Armenian, it was something else. Anyway, they converted a few of the leaders, and boom, then it was able to expand outward from there. And thankfully, the real church was really the most organized. All the other heresies were kind of charismatic in a sense. They had like charismatic leaders and who fell apart once the real church confronted them and expanded outward. And that was kind of amazing to read about. Anyway, again, though, even though my point being, those in their writings had relics. They had things that they just honored, glorified in martyrs, the bones of the martyrs, the burial sites of the martyrs, and people who dedicated, monks who dedicated their life to the church. They honored their sites and their burials and their relics. So I'm going to go ahead and say that, the Christians did need something to hold on to physically to give them the strength to persevere in many cases. So that's, so we're going to have a bunch of those type of things in there. For instance, one actually is a book of Psalms. See, that's plus one diring to prayer. That's a really big one there. Like a nun that I have has that. And then she, through upgrading with her Scrivener's thing, and then at the church, she will try to write in more Psalms and increase that die rank to 2 die ranks to 3 die ranks. So she has to do that through an upgrade, like it's pretty cool. The way she has to prepare it, figure out that she's got everything she needs, carefully write it out, blah, 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 use that skill. So it's kind of cool. It's a neat little thing to have. So here we go to the bad guys. Okay. So one thing I do have here is magic attacks, which I'm going to allow this, and I've been thinking about it, where, fireball, poisonous cloud, nightmare attack, destroy stone, blazing pig, illusion of the gods, signs of the gods, smoke. So these are, and what, casting spells, spell slots. No, it's prep points or magic. You can call them magic points, but I like to call them prep points. That's what they used. Prep points, preparation points. To make a fireball, they had to prepare some stuff, some flammable gels and liquids, and how they disperse it. They have to prepare. So, and whenever they have an encounter, these wizards, magicians, will have prep points, and that's what they have prepared for that encounter. And they may use those prep points to spend on the different things that they know, that they actually, that they have learned or studied or researched. I'm going to use these mostly for villains, because once these wizards, if they are converted to Christianity, fade off from using these, because they're all trickery. It's magic, but it's trickery. But then they stop using these and start using the blessings, because and there's no specific rule. As a GM, I'm going to role play it that if they use Fireball as a Christian, wizard, because they want to play a wizard, if they use Fireball, the people are going to say, "Oh, you use fire." No, I'm here to convert you into Christ. Yeah, but you use fire, so you worship the fire god. So that's what we follow. We're going to follow you because you're a fire god. Yeah, you can talk about Christian all you want, but we know you believe in the fire god. So if they use this stuff a lot, especially in front of people, the people are just going to. This is what the pagans used. So since you're using what the pagans are using, we're going to worship the paganism that you have. You can believe in Jesus as well if you want, because that's fine. But we're going to worship the gods that you use in your skills. I'm going to do that kind of a thing if they want to use these type of magic attacks. Okay, and I'm going to put I think it's in here, me talking about it and blah blah blah. But these are kind of going back to the typical spells. But again, yep, it's preparation points. That's their magic points to do this, because that's what it is. It's a preparation. Okay, just a little silliness there. So I've got all the creatures. You can quickly make a creature just by basic little stats here. If you just want to throw something at them, it's very easy to do that. If you just understand the basics. Here's a map of the area and what kind of creatures I would hope to have in there. Oh, I should add more in there. But here they are. They're very, and you can see the stats here. It's very simple stats. And these are suggestions. They only get 1 attack per turn, no matter what it is. There is a free action. I will say that. Like a crocodile will have a bite, but then he'll also have a tail whip. But only if someone is behind him. Only if he's surrounded. Like those free actions only occur if they're surrounded. If it's just one-on-one, then they don't get the extra attack. So everyone gets a one type of attack, and these are just like optional things to do, kind of thing, or whatever. Or they'll have optional stats that add to the attack or whatever. Yeah. So if in the attack, if you see if you just see a D4 or a D6, that's the damage. And the +3 is obviously the to hit. And there might even be with the +3 a die rank, like +3 +1 die rank. That's still the to hit. This is +3 and 1 die rank is a D4, so it's +3 and a D4. But if you just see a die in there, that's the damage. Okay. and just I got a bunch of stuff. It's all sort of grounded into Earth history, and I got dragons. Here we are, dragons. I remember I was at a homeschool convention, and there was a velociraptor, and I was in my knight's armor walking around, and there's kids there, and they said, "Oh, do you have?" I talked about, "You're fighting the dinosaur," and I said, "No, I'm fighting a dragon." And I pointed to the velociraptor. I said, "There, I'm fighting a dragon." He goes, "That's not a dragon. That's a dinosaur." I'm like, "That's a dragon. What do you think a dragon is?" And they're like, I think I blew their minds. They're like, "Oh." They started thinking about it, and we have been brainwashed by the evolutionists to think that dinosaurs are different from dragons in history. They had to separate them out. They had to separate them out from us because they're trying to trick us. They're trying to make medieval history concerning dragons be separate from dinosaurs. But all the lore of dragons is freaking dinosaurs. A dinosaur means terrible lizard, but still, the evolutionists are trying to trick you, thinking that humans never saw dinosaurs because dinosaurs are millions of years ago. They're trying to trick you into thinking that. And that's what I find very annoying. I really think that true dragon lore, which is dinosaurs, is being erased from history. Like, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to delve into it. They don't want to explore it. They can't. They can't explore dinosaur dragon lore in medieval history and ancient history. They can't explore it. If they do, they're going to expose their evolution lie. So they erase it. And that to me is kind of infuriating, Imagine that. In order to keep their evolution alive and well, their deception, they have to erase history. They have to erase all the accounts of dinosaurs, all the art and depictions of dinosaurs in medieval history, in ancient history. And here's some more things that you can have in lakes and caves, wherever you want. I love doing these near shores of giant lakes, like kind of like Loch Ness Monster type things. That's really been a wonderful, fun thing that they've had to delve into and freak out over. These things coming around near the I'm trying to move this. Get the artwork. Just taking up the text here. Okay, I think that's it. Also, to me, a feral, demonic, possessed bear is scarier than dragons, than fantasy demons and pit demon fiends and all that. A freaking mauling bear is freaking dangerous. And in my game, your characters don't get a lot of vitality hit points. They don't get 80 hit points. They're struggling with 20 to 30 hit points at the most, and that can go real quick. And even if you had 40, even if you pushed yourself to 40 hit points or whatever, you could still get a critical that'll kill you instantly. Like, a bad critical, especially from a bear. If that bear rolls a nat 20, there's a good chance they're going to do a whole... And it's a feral, by the way. This is like a scary possessed bear. If this thing gets a nat 20 on you, you're probably going to die. So, yeah. I don't care what level you are. I don't care. Anyway. Just great stuff. I'm really loving this game. I was talking to the guy last night. We're Christians, and we just can't go back. We can't go to another game. We can't, if you say we cannot use our Christian faith in a game, I don't care how fun that game is. It's not sacred to me. It's not my sacred cow. I don't care. If I can't bring my faith into a game and play it the way I want as a Christian, playing a Christian character, I'm just not interested. I'm just not interested. And I love that I am free. I am free from them, free from having to give up my faith in the game. I'm free from that, and I love it. So here, I got to build this out more with all the different types of modular map things and what you can do with them. This is just suggestions on different types of traps, and they're just suggestions. You can come up with whatever you want. Keep it simple, whatever. The catacombs. So I'm really giving you guys a fun thing to do with catacombs and the dungeon crawl experience, so that you can create creepy dungeon crawls. Because remember, under Rome, there's miles and miles of catacombs, and it's incredible. And historically, they think the Christians mostly did it because they wanted to bury their followers, but there's plenty of levels under there. Even in Jerusalem, there's cities and levels underneath, built upon city. So there's all these catacombs of lost, creepy, fun stuff to be under there. And that's what I want. That's what I'm adding here. And what's creepy too is that in the 6th, 7th century, they closed all of them. So they literally forgotten them for 1,000 years. It was 1600s, 1700s when they rediscovered the tombs. So I like to think of like, why did they close them up? Sort of a legend of the Christians must have had to have gone down there and cleared out all the evil, demonic, pagan stuff and the monsters and the hauntings and all that, sealed them up under the churches, especially because many of the churches were pagan temples that were converted to churches, and they had to seal them up, with holy symbols or whatever they wanted. And so there's all this evil underneath there, and that's this story, like. The church sending in why is this this is just a typo there, sending in holy warriors to clean up the area, so that's cleanse the area, purify it, to then seal it. And so this is can be an epic dungeon crawl campaign where you're doing that. And I'm gonna I'm adding a holy relic items, salvage underneath there. I'm definitely gonna have these are some NPs you can start with if you wanted to play a quick mini shots. And what's cool about the mini shot, I really like, I've been testing this out, is that when they go to an area and get some salvage or clean out the pagan shrines and trinkets and idols and stuff, they immediately get glory points or different here you can get healing supplies, armor repair supplies, just things that they can use in the what is this weird in the underground thing that can help them repair and keep their stuff going, because there's a bunch of stuff down there. There's a bunch of offerings and food offerings and armor, in the area they can use to repair their own armors and stuff like that. So there's stuff. So these dungeon crawls will actually have an ecology all of their own that they can go around and search for salvage and do things to immediately gain levels, skill ranks, and then you should have a baddie at the end, a big baddie demonic thing. I'm gonna have fun with that, because I get it, man. I love that kind of stuff too. So we gotta have one. And so here's my little demons I'm creating. Yeah, I'm creating these scary, demons. They're not my feral bear. They're scary demon looking things. I'm gonna do some ones though that are. This is definitely that traditional scary demon looking guy. I'm gonna do ones that are prehistoric demonic looking, like a feral rabid gorillas, giant prehistoric cavernous dwelling gorillas that have become the demons that they worship and stuff like that. So I'm gonna let me write that down here. Scary giant gorilla beast. So I'm gonna have things like that, scary dragons, which are dinosaurs, and scary gorilla beasts that are here that are sort of crazed, rabid, possessed, and they can fight as demons, and they're worshipped by the pagans down there. And the pagans may have even tamed them, given them offerings. Tame them so that they slumber in the pagan temples and take human sacrifices or whatever whatever pagans want to do. Monasteries. This is going to give a little more info on building up, having monasteries, characters. I think I'm going to do this. I have it up above with the church activity. I might move it up there and do some more there. I'm not really sure yet. This is going to be all the reference stuff. I'm going to have all the stuff at the back, so you can just flip to the back and get all the stuff down there as well, which I find it super handy with the ones I have right now. So it's funny, I just go right back. Oh, where's this and where's that, and I just go to the last few pages and there they are, and I use them. So it's kind of handy. Okay, so I feel like with these Kickstarters that I'm doing right now, I'm finally finalizing the game so that I can move on to just doing content and stop doing the core rule books and stuff. I've been doing these core rule books for 2-3 years now, always constantly upgrading them, constantly changing them, and I know I can change these forever and ever. I'm not going to I might make a list of homebrew changes, and then when I do another edition in a couple of years or whatever, I might change it. But I really want to get these done, make sure I have some good campaign books for them, and then I want to start doing a couple other settings. Same game system, some new cool settings, but anyway, again, thank you guys for the Kickstarter. It's going to end here any minute. I should have, 82 minutes from now, probably, anyway, but I'm going to try to post this video, but of course I made it so long, it's probably going to get up there, but it's too late. But anyway, if you please, my games are available on Amazon. I don't put them on drive-thru. I might put them on drive-thru eventually, but I just wanted to get them on Amazon first and just get a feel for it. I had a hard time with a drive-thru. As far as getting prints done, it was way too expensive. So I don't know if I'm gonna do prints on Amazon or drive-thru. Anyway, okay, so in the game, that's it. Let me end with this, and in the game of life, and I appreciate you backers. I really do. It's so few, yet you all put in a lot of money to get me up to that goal. It's a tough sell, that for sure. Christians, being a Christian, I want to be a Christian. I want to play a Christian. It's a tough sell to the RPG culture, but I'm going to keep doing it because that's what I enjoy doing, and I love it. I love the Lord, so for the Lord. In the game of life, roll holy dice.